Yo, OMG! Thank you so much for the 22 months, man. Appreciate it. Nah, it's totally fair to not buy the remake for sure. I'm speaking only specifically to the thought of like I would buy it, but it's not the full story, so I'm gonna wait. It's like a really bad for like I just don't agree with that at all, but I can understand why some people think that way, but it's like a really bad way to think. Starving yourself of so much just because they made a decision that overall makes the game better. You're punishing yourself and punishing them for making a very wise decision and not trying to shove the whole game into the whole story into one game. Do you think they might package both games together? Oh yeah, 100%. Well, maybe not both, but eventually they'll package the games together. They always do at Square. I think Final Fantasy IX Remake would be a big mistake, but it would still be cool. But of all the Final Fantasy games, I think 9 is the one I want to remake of the least. It's like a callback to the OG games, and in that sense it shouldn't be touched. If you want to remake something like 6 because it's so retro that a remake wouldn't really ruin the original, then I can understand that. But remaking 9 still looks great, and it's supposed to feel retro-y because that's like what it is. It's a callback to the retro ones. Like, I think I'd rather see a remake of like 10, where like the whole idea of 10 was to be like a more new age type Final Fantasy. So like, sure, upgrade the graphics of 10. That's like, they were trying to make the graphics nice. They weren't trying to make the graphics in 9 impressive. They were trying to make it look like it does. Something like 8 would make more sense too, because 8 they were trying to be more realistic and they just didn't have the capability to do it yet. 9 they weren't trying to look realistic, so remaking it in a more realistic way or like a more graphically enhanced way is silly. But then again, I love 9, and being able to play through 9 again in a remake, I wouldn't complain, but of all the games, I think it's the least it's like the last one I would pick for a remake. And also with 8, there's so many story flaws that they could fix in a remake. I don't want a single part of 9's story changed, but 8's, you could actually tell it in a way that makes frickin' sense. Final Fantasy VIII story. I got a little too close to Sin's Toxin and ooh, big damage. I want to taste Hitball's tears in 4K. Like, I'm thinking in my head, like, What could you improve? If we're making a remake of any Final Fantasy game, what can be improved? Okay, so 1 through 6, really it's just like you could bring them to life, you know. With those stories, they wanted... They had the desire to make them super epic, but didn't have the capability to do that. So 1 through 6, you could easily remake in a 3D, 4K, super graphically enhanced way, and it would be a completely different experience, and you could still go back and experience the originals, or you could experience this new remade version, and it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't mess up your interpretation of either one, right? So I think a remake of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 would be great. Then you have 7, where the reason it was remade is because it's 7, and it's so, like, globally known, and it's the game, so, like, and it was such a gritty game that, like, remaking it made sense, right? And there's so much extended lore that they've added over the years that adding that extended lore to the original game just made sense. So I think 7 Remake works well. Whether or not you like it or not, it's totally up to you. But I think from an unbiased standpoint, taking all the extended lore that has been added to Final Fantasy VII so many years after the original game was made and combining it into one experience is a great idea and, like, is cool, right? Then you have 8, where they wanted to go more realistic with it. They wanted to push the boundaries of the tech, but the PS1 just couldn't do it yet. And the story itself has a ton of flaws that could be fixed in a remake. The graphics themselves could be fixed so much in a remake. Like, there's a lot you could do with 8 to make a great remake, right? 9? What are you gonna remake? You're just gonna make it look more chibi, probably. Like, I don't think the graphics would look much better. The only thing I can think of is the cutscenes. Like, especially that final cutscene could be, like, super grand in scope. Like, some of the cutscenes could look incredible if you remade them. They already look great. I'm not saying they need to be remade, but if you did remake them, they'd look great. So that's one thing I could point at. But other than that, story, don't touch it. Characters, don't touch it. Graphics, I think, still look good. Music, don't touch it. Like, you know, 9 really does not need a remake at all. Then you have 10, where, like, it doesn't need remade, but you could make some of the stuff in 10 more epic in scale, I guess. Like, I don't know. A 10 remake would be very strange. I think the remaster is exactly what they needed, like, just a touch-up on it. I don't see any reason to remake it, but, like, I could even see an argument for 10's remake more than 9's, to be honest. And then, I don't know, 12, like, at that point, if you're remaking those games, I just feel old. Just feel old at that point. Also, does this... I don't think this normally plays this theme. I think this is out of the ordinary. I don't know if it's just because we fought the Turks, though. Maybe it's just... Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's because we fought the Turks. Yeah. It's just not something I specifically remember. But I don't know, like... I'm also kind of, at this point, I'm kind of over remakes. There's a couple games that I think a remake would be cool, but in general, I'm starting to get sick of remakes. 7 was the one everyone wanted. We finally got it. We don't really need to go any further than that. I would rather them go down the path of, like, a new like a new universe, or just a new way of experiencing Final Fantasy, like Stranger of Paradise, which I don't know if that was the right decision. We'll see. I think I'm going to enjoy it, but I don't think a lot of Final Fantasy fans are going to enjoy Stranger of Paradise. But we'll see. But some kind of new, like, new way of experiencing Final Fantasy. Not just a literal remake of the games. I don't think that's the way to go. I really liked when they first announced Stranger of Paradise and everyone thought that it was a remake of 1, but as an action RPG. I really like that idea, guys. Like, honestly. I know that not everyone's into action RPGs, but obviously Square Enix is really into action RPGs. And I loved the idea of experiencing the stories of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but with like a different angle, or like different characters, or like different things could potentially happen. It could be written slightly different. And the whole thing was just a different experience as like an action RPG or a Neo RPG or whatever. I really like that idea. I thought it could be really cool, like an alternate universe. Final Fantasy 1, but it's an alternate universe. Final Fantasy 6, but it's an alternate universe. I thought that was cool, but then I realized that's not what it is, so. But I liked that idea. I was a little afraid that, like, an alternate universe thing could kind of screw stuff up with the original stories, though. Even though it's an alternate universe. Like, what if they did Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy VI, and the whole idea was, like, Kefka died early or something. And instead of him taking over, Garland, right? That's his name? Garland? Takes over. And then, like, everything plays out differently. I feel like that would just annoy people more than it would be, like, interesting. I want a spiderweb. No! Like, cool in concept, but I think a lot of people would just be annoyed rather than interested. I think what I would rather have is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy VI, and it takes place in the same world, but with different characters. Maybe even as a parallel story. Like... Like, I think Final Fantasy VI might be hard to do, but I'm trying to think of some other good examples. Like what if there was Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy VII and you play as the Turks? And you play all the scenes that, like, didn't exist in this game. So that they don't step on any story. But you just literally play as, like, the Turks doing other things while the characters are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And there's, like, references, you get, like, all these cool references and stuff to, like, what Cloud and the party are doing, but you never actually, like, step into the story of Final Fantasy VII. It's its own story. One cool thing that I always thought would be neat is a separate story in Final Fantasy X's universe where you play as a different group going on the pilgrimage. You play as, like, a different Yuna and a different Guardians. I always thought doing Braska would be cool as, like, a prologue, but we're talking, like, separate universes here, so, like, forget Braska. You're just a completely different party on a completely different time where Sin is alive again. But you visit the same temples, and you see areas that you're familiar with, and maybe interact with some characters. Like you find a Waka or something. Like they could connect it in a way, but then not step on the original story either. If you did Braska, you'd be like stepping on the original story. It has to be like alternate, so that we're not messing with the originals, but you could still see all the familiar places and see familiar enemies. You could fight the Chocobo Eater again, stuff. Like, don't you think that would be cool? Would anyone, like, be into that? If it was literally Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy X, and it was a Neo-style action RPG, but you're playing as a completely different pilgrimage group, and you fight enemies from Final Fantasy X, and go to locations from Final Fantasy X, and maybe meet a couple characters like Owaka and stuff, but other than that, it's, like, separate from Final Fantasy X. So we're not stepping on 10's story, but it has its own story and interesting stuff. I know some people aren't into Neo, so you're just going to say no, but if you're into Neo, if you're into the Stranger of Paradise thing, CRJP, or would you rather them do what they're doing now and it's just like completely separate, but there happens to be Garland in Chaos? I don't know. I'm still really confused as to what Stranger of Paradise is, but I guess we'll find out in a few weeks. Oh god, what are these? I don't remember. I have all this money from the debug fight, though. See, I think Final Fantasy I was a cool game to pick because there's so little story in Final Fantasy I that, like, they can do whatever they want, and it's not really stepping on one story because one didn't really have a story. So, like, they can just do whatever they want. They just have Garland and Chaos there, and you're like, okay, Final Fantasy I, and then they just kind of go off on their own thing. One story is Orb, yeah. Well, I mean, there is a story, but it doesn't tell you until the end of the game. The game ends, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a story. You want to hear it? And you're like, what? So yeah, I like the reimagined thing, but once you get to like once you get to later Final Fantasies, which I don't know if that's what they're doing. Stranger of Paradise might just be a one-off thing, or they might make a sequel to Stranger of Paradise that keeps the same story going. But when I first saw Stranger of Paradise, I thought it was a reimagining of 1, and then the next one was going to be a reimagining of 2, etc., etc. That's just the vibe I got. So then I just started thinking about what would that be like, and just kind of took over my brain. I've been thinking about it ever since. Please don't be touch me F fight. Okay. Just a little worried about a potential touch me F moment. How would you feel over a Final Fantasy game centered on Galuf and the Dawn Warriors versus X-Death? See, that could be the Final Fantasy V alternate universe thing. You, like, play as Galuf before he was a hero, and, like, everything happens on the other planet. That's not really alternate universe, though. That's, like, a prequel, but still. I guess alternate universe would be, like, a war on the other planet, but it doesn't involve Galuf. I don't know. I'm still so mixed with this. Because it seems like a lot of people in the community don't like them messing with established characters, and I kind of agree. Like, as soon as I said a game where Kefka dies early, everyone was like, no. And I kind of agree, like, messing with those characters, messing with these characters we've known for so long is, like, not good. But, you know, then I think about something like, have you seen those books where they take Disney stories and they tell it from the view of the villain as if the villain, like, won? Have you seen those? I saw those and thought that was, like, a really cool idea. Like, this idea that, like, Ursula defeated Ariel and, like, became the Queen of the Ocean. Like, how cool of an idea is that? And then you, like, expand from there. Honestly, maybe that's where we should go. Maybe that's what we should be talking about. Because most everyone's favorite characters from the games are the villains. So why not make a game where Sephiroth wins? Or a game where Kefka wins? People would totally dig that. The only issue is, if Kefka wins, there's not much of a story to tell. You just open the book and there's nothing. And you're like, oh, look at that. I guess he won. You turn on the game and it's just a black screen. And you're like, oh, okay. But I don't know, maybe like a game where you take control of Kefka from like his side of the story, or Sephiroth's side of the story, since everyone loves the character so much. All I'm saying is, if you make a game where you play as Kuja and there's a button you can press to make him do the laugh, everyone will buy it. That's all I'm saying. Like, Square, it's free money. It really is. It really is free money. Did I say Kuja? I meant Kefka. Why'd I buy that? I didn't mean to buy that. Whatever, I have money. Okay, here's another one then to cover the Kuja thing. If they make a Final Fantasy IX game where you play as Kuja, and the entire time you're walking around it plays his theme, everyone will buy it. Everybody buy that game. You just walk around aimlessly as Kuja and it just plays his theme and everyone just cowers in fear. Everyone buy that game. You know you would. A game where you play as Sephiroth, just going around murdering everyone in Nibelheim. You'd buy it. You'd buy it. You just take every opportunity you can to post the Titus soundtrack, don't you? Every day it's like, alright, how do we post it this time where it's relevant? Let's see. How can we get it in this time? Every day I'm Titus laughing. Aha. Dude, I want a Final Fantasy X prequel so bad. Well, now I don't, because it wouldn't be good. But back when it first came out... Well, when it first came out, I was like every other Final Fantasy fan on the planet who thought that Final Fantasy would never have prequels or sequels because that's the whole goddamn point of the series. But once they made Final Fantasy X-2, I was like, okay, where's my prequel? If you're gonna ruin the series by making a sequel, can I at least get a freaking prequel of Braska? Because that'd be amazing. No, I'm fine. I sound upset? I'm not upset. Just ruin my favorite series for money and ruin my favorite character by putting her in a bikini. I'm fine. I know, it's so unfortunate. I love this scene with Kate Sith and Yuffie. They're like, what are we doing here? We're not... we're not relevant to this. It's also about Yuffie's face. I've never seen Yuffie in this cutscene. Oh, she tried to grab it! That was cool. Never saw that before. Or maybe I did and I just didn't realize it. How's it going, Irish? Why does Yuffie's eyes look so bloodshot? I kind of noticed that with all their eyes. I noticed that with Red 13 too. But I think that might just be PS1. I don't think it's this version. I think it's just PS1. Maybe they're cosplaying as me, because my eyes are probably bloodshot. My nose probably looks like Rudolph. I just realized I forgot my coffee upstairs this whole time. My coffee has been sitting upstairs. I didn't even... What am I doing? Oh man, you got kidney stones? That's enough. Hope you're feeling better. How are you even still... Dude, I'm going on pure adrenaline. As soon as I hit stop stream, I'm gonna be snoring. Stop stream, my head just falls flat on my keyboard. Yo, sleep easy. How's it going, man? Good timing. Perfect timing. We were just talking about me falling asleep, and then you show up. Wake up. Welcome back. You're not that old. I'm 378. Whoa. No, I just have a cold. But I just got it, so it's like, yeah, hit me. This is the only place I can discuss retro RPG boobs. Have you seen the internet? Have you used the URL bar? I guarantee there's several places better than here. Okay, it kind of bothers me that Cloud doesn't sit to the left of Red 13. Like, there's all that room. He sits to the left of Tifa when he talks to Tifa, but then he sits in the same spot when he talks to Red 13. Also, Aerith looks like a goddamn Cyclops. I'm terrified. Can we move on, please? I'm gonna see that in my dreams now. Please get that Aerith Cyclops off my screen. Oh god, she's still there. Oh man, switching all this materia sucks. When I can't read any of it. Yeah, this is truly a... Ma'am, this is a Wendy's moment. If you're having some thoughts about the anime women, you can take that to other places on the internet. We don't need that here, please. It's great for like a one-off joke, but to go on and on about it is a little cringe. Also, the game just lagged there. That was interesting. I heard the PlayStation like, oh, nah. Dude, I do not care how old the characters are. Why would I care about how old the characters are? In what way does that affect the game in any way? I mean, unless you make Yuffie like 25. Other than that, I always thought the ages of RPG characters were a bit weird. They seem to always be super young. I think it's because they're trying to like stick to their demographic, but like even some of the games where it feels like the game's more gritty and the characters are more old, like are older, they tend to always be like really young. I used to think Cloud was like 30 or something. Like he was like a grown man. Yeah, Steiner is old at 33. Oh my god. He got poisoned real fast. What was the game I played recently where the characters were like mega young? They didn't seem to be that young. Can't remember. I mean, I don't know. It's no mystery or no surprise that Japanese characters tend to be young. It's just very common. It's a very common thing. Oh shoot, that was poison. I thought this was poison. This is like Blizzard or something. We banned everyone under 30. Guys, don't tell him. $27 forever. 27 this year. Happy birthday. Turn 27. Going on 27. You think video games keep you young? I think that's why you feel young? Or you think it has nothing to do with it? I feel like our generation, playing video games is a way to kind of stay young. Wow, Shiva did a ton of damage. Are those things weak against ice? It might be, because that was like a lot. Then again, I am kind of high level because of that debug fight. I'm up like 2 levels. I feel like our generation was kind of the generation where only kids played video games. Like, some adults played video games, but for the most part, it was a kid thing. So playing video games for us kind of feels like a way to stay young. But I think the next generation, that won't be the case. The next generation, video games are a thing for everyone. So I don't know if playing video games will necessarily have the same feel. It's more just a thing everyone does, not a cool thing that kids do. It's kind of weird calling video games cool. I lived at a time when playing video games was nerdy. But yeah, I think in the future, like, it's just going to be a normal thing everyone does. It's not necessarily going to feel like a kid thing. Playing sports? I don't know. I don't even want to ask this because I'm afraid of what the responses are going to be, but what do kids do nowadays? That isn't video games. Because like when I was growing up, there was all sorts of fads. TikTok? So is that going to be the thing that keeps our kids young? They're going to be making TikToks into their 40s? No, because I mean, when we were growing up, it was all sorts of different things. It was like Pokemon, and not talking about the games, but Pokemon, and then Yu-Gi-Oh, and then Beyblades, and then we had like some different card games got popular and stuff, and then at one point we were all playing dice in school, like dice, like rolling dice was cool. It was like Pogs and like different movies how we get, and now I'm like, what's even cool with kids? Like all I ever hear is Fortnite, and like Fortnite isn't even cool anymore. It's usually just whatever game is popular is what I hear from the kids. So like, is that it? Did gaming just take over now or what? Or am I mean, I'm obviously not hip with the kids, so I don't even know. My kids are still not going to school yet, so I haven't gotten the talk from my kid yet. Once he's old enough to be like, Dad, you're lame. He's gonna come home one day and be like, dude, you don't even have a TikTok. You're so freaking lame. Like, he's still 4, okay? He still thinks I'm cool, so. But, yeah, I don't know. All I ever hear is, like, games. It's weird. Like I told you guys, I went to my wife's school the other day and went to the Scholastic Book Fair. And the Scholastic Book Fair, at least when I was growing up, was pretty cool. They had like all the stuff that kids were interested in. It's not like stupid learning garbage. Like the Scholastic Book Fair actually attempts to be hip, right? So when I went to the Scholastic Book Fair, it had like BattleBots books and Pokemon books and Yu-Gi-Oh books and all sorts of cool stuff that kids were actually into, right? When I went to the Scholastic Book Fair, it was Amogus, Fortnite, Kingdom Hearts, randomly, and Minecraft. So like, is it just gaming now? Is like kids just into gaming now? Is that it? I actually didn't see any Roblox, funny enough. Oh, and Five Nights, of course. Of course. Gotta have Five Nights. But yeah. That's just, yeah, it's weird. I feel like kids are just into games. Or stuff that kids are usually into, like sports and stuff, but I don't see those same, like, trends that used to happen when we were young that we would jump onto that wasn't gaming. The next trend is always just gaming. Or it's one of those stupid TikTok trends, like, I don't know, whatever. Ice Bucket Challenge! Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's all just TikTok trends, and I'm just not into it. Maybe that's what it is. I just don't know it, because... Maybe that's it. I don't know, man. Gaming really is different, though. I think we can all say with certainty, gaming used to be like a niche thing, and now you can make a TikTok that's like, when your girlfriend also games, and it gets like a bajillion views. Like it's it's so different. Like, holy cow, you could never do that. When we were growing up, if you had some shirt that said like gaming on it, you were just the biggest nerd ever. I tell you what, like, just culture has changed so much. I remember I was watching AEW the other day, and Jon Moxley, who is the AEW equivalent of, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to say a equivalent, but he's the guy that just beats people up. That's his character right now. That's his gimmick right now. He is just literally the beat people up guy, right? He was wearing an Akira hoodie on the last episode of AEW. And I remember looking at that and just being like, man, things are different. The world is a different place, you know? The world is a different place than it was 10 years ago. Yo, dude Anders, thank you for the full year, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Randy Orton wears the Super Mario hoodie. Let's go. How's it going, Azro? Thanks for being here. Yeah, man. Wild. Anime has come such a long way, too. And I mean, I'm not even an anime guy, but I know when the tides are turning. When I go into like, not even like a store that sells anime stuff, just a regular store, and I see like My Hero Academia merch, and I'm like, okay. It's different, man. Might be time to use these ethers. Why not? About to get the big spooters. Let me see here. Do I know which one of these is mini? I think it might be that one. It's the wrong direction. Well, Hot Topic is Hot Topic. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think I ever went into Hot Topic and thought like, whoa, they have that here? I expected what I saw going into Hot Topic. The only thing I was thinking when I went into Hot Topic was, you stick this where? It's kind of a weird store. There's always weird people working there, too. Some cool people. Weird people. No, they had that body jewelry line. There was always like a huge wall of jewelry. And I'd always just look at it and like I didn't even understand where half of it went. Yeah, and then there was Spencer's, which was that times 100. do you mean miss? Oh my god, dude. If I could go back in time, I would start a body jewelry company called Corneo's Dungeon. Make us $1 billion. What a great name for a company. Why wait? Start now. Did you guys buy from Corneo's Dungeon? Dio's Showroom. That'd be the name of my store. Just a bunch of goofy, weird stuff. Dio's Showroom. We'd open up right next to what was that? What was that super pink store? Forget the name of it. They sold like bows and all the girly stuff. No, it wasn't pink. Claire's. Claire's? Was it Claire's? I mean Claire's. Yeah. I went in there a grand total of 1 time. I bought a little bow clip, and it was an experience, let me tell you. The ladies behind the counter looked at me like I was the first guy they had seen in months. They just followed me all around the store. What's he doing? What's he grabbing? What's he looking at? Is he gonna buy something? What's he doing in here? It's weird. Who are you buying for? My dog. What do you think? What do you think I'm buying for at Claire's? Sir, this is not a Wendy's. You missed the Wendy's, sir. Wendy's is the next over. We have no burgers here. Please leave. Look at this poor guy. He's lost. He's looking for burgers. Man, all this talk about companies and stuff makes me miss going to the mall. Used to be my favorite thing to do. Now, like, malls are all dead around me. There's no reason to go. And I can't really, like, I don't know, I can't justify going. Because I used to go and just buy nothing. I would just go for fun, but putting people in danger to go out just to walk around for fun, I just can't justify it. But it doesn't really matter, because all the malls around me are dying anyways. There's like 3 stores. Wow, that was mean. I got cured 2 already? Nice. Yep, we beat the debug fight. It gave 400 AP, 4,000 XP, and 40,000 gil, I think it was. It was big stonks. Yeah, no, a lot of the malls around me were dying even before the pandemic. It's just, you know, Amazon. No, we found out that they could be lasered and also poisoned. Laser did max damage and poison did like 1,000 a tick. Because they're debug fights, they didn't make them immune to anything. So, poison worked. And gravity worked. Yeah, with like everyone shopping online and stuff, it's just malls are kind of dying. But man, nothing beats the experience of going to a mall. There's just something about it. Something about window shopping that's just always so much fun. Just always loved it. Alright, this fight's actually kind of a goon. And I don't have elemental, so I don't have elemental fire, which helps a lot. And I'm not going to do the cheese and throw a potion, so we're going to do it legit, but this fight's kind of hard legit when you don't know what you're doing. And you don't have elemental.